Today's tutorial is one of those videos I've been promising for a while, and that's a tutorial on how to make a face cast but without having to use your face. So you've seen the more intensive method, which I've already shown on my channel quite a while back, and today what you're going to start off with is just an ordinary face mask that you can get from any kind of craft shop. I've cut off the band, and now what we need to do is we need to cover up the eyes. Now the easiest way to do this is just to get something like duct tape and put a little swatch of this right behind the eyes. Don't do it from the other side, because if you do that, what's going to happen is once you fill it up with plaster, it's just going to push through and push the tape away just because of the weight of it. So do it from the inside so that the weight of the plaster which you're going to be pouring into the face mask later on is going to hold it into place, even if the stickiness of the tape doesn't. So once that's done, what we need to do is we need to prevent it from just slowly falling out on itself once we've put the plaster in. Regardless of what you use, a plastic box or a cardboard box, you are going to need to pad the inside. But also, because I'm using a cardboard box, we need to make sure that this is secure as well. So I'm going to be taping the outside just so that it can't splay outwards once I've put the plaster in it. And you just need to put 1 or 2 wraps of this around it. And then I'm going to pad the edges even more. Now you need to be especially careful around the forehead, because that's where the largest chunk of the plaster is going to be, and that's the part of the mask which is the most likely to get a little bit warped. Now for the plaster, I'm going to be using stone powder, but any kind of plaster of Paris will do. And I'm going to mix it until I get a thick, soupy consistency, and then I'm just going to pour it straight into the mask. Once I fill this as far as I can, I'm going to wait for about 15 minutes until it's a thick cream consistency, and at this point I can write my name in it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start scooping out the inside, and the reason I do this is because it makes a massive difference in the weight. Now this might not seem like much, but if you're having to lift something like this a lot, it's going to make a very big difference to cut down the weight, and also it makes it a lot easier to pick up and put down, and the last thing you want to do is drop one of these, so anything which is going to help your grip is going to be appreciated. Once this has dried completely, I'm going to take it out and I'm going to start peeling away the cardboard. Because this was a cardboard mask, it is going to get completely ruined. You're not going to be able to use this again. So something like a plastic mask would be better if you can get that. If you can't, a cardboard one will work just as well. You'll just need to peel it away. And once you've peeled away as much as you can with your fingers, you're going to need to go ahead with some sandpaper. Now, even if you've done this with a plastic mask, you'll probably want to go over it with some sandpaper just to make sure it's really nice and neat everywhere. So I'll be starting off with a rougher sandpaper and then moving on to one with a finer grit. Now you might think that you can leave it there. You could if you want to, but if you want to make sure that things like prosthetics which you want to make on this or masks don't stick later on, it's a very good idea just to put a bit of a primer on this. Now an easy way to make a primer is while it's still a little bit wet and still drying and needs a few more hours, take some water, mix some PVA glue and put 1 or 2 coats over that so that it really sinks into the stone powder, and then that way you've got a really good buffer between the prosthetics and your face mask. And that's it, you're done.